Hello boys and girls, my name is DannyMac, and after a long hiatus, we're back once again with the weekly character videos, except this time it's different. This time I want you to do it with me. Now before I get into the details, I first want to apologise for not uploading a video for a while. The last couple of months have been really crazy. I've found myself breaking up with my girlfriend and moving into a new flat, which isn't easy at the best of time, but it's even trickier when the world is casually falling apart around you. However, I finally feel like I'm finding some sort of routine now, so I thought it would be a good time to introduce the DannyMac3DChallenge. Now, if you're not aware of this already, then you probably don't watch the live streams or are part of the Discord community. So if this sounds like something you want to get involved in, be sure to check out the links in the description. So what is this challenge all about then? Well, each week the community votes on a theme, and then you have 2 weeks to realise a 3D character based on this theme. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece, this is just a bit of fun, but as a little incentive to push yourself, I'll repost some of the best pieces on various social media, if you want me to, of course. For more information on the challenge, be sure to check out the Discord link below, where I've posted all the details. Now, the time-lapse you see on the screen was actually the first attempt at this challenge, and you might notice that I'm using a draw this in your style concept for this piece, which you'll of course find linked in the description below. And please go and show the artist some love, they've got some really cool art. Now, the original idea was to vote on a draw this in your style concept to work from, but the rules have since changed, so we now vote on a theme instead. You might notice that I deviated slightly from the concept in the end to include a little nod to Quinny, who, as many of you will be aware, sadly passed away earlier this year. I never spoke to her or anything, but I did admire her work from a distance, and I just wanted to share a bit of the love. During this time lapse, you might notice that some of the footage is missing, and this is because I had a few technical issues, but be aware that I also live streamed most of the process, so you can see it in real time by following the link to my Twitch channel, which is, I think you know where it is by now. If you want to dig even deeper into how I set this up, the project files can be bought from my Gumroad store. Unlike some of the previous pieces, I did start this one from scratch for a change. Well, the head anyway. But rather than retopologize it manually, I used a plugin called Zbrush for Zbrush, which essentially allows you to wrap existing topology around your high poly model. Now, I often get asked why do I bother retopologizing my heads if I don't animate them, and the answer is that a retopologized mesh allows for really clean geometry. You can keep the model really low poly and still get a really clean, smoothed result. Another reason is that those low poly subdivision levels are really easy to control. If you've ever tried poly modelling or box modelling a head in Blender or Maya, you'll know the value of keeping the poly count as low as possible. And if you wanted another reason, it improves the render performance quite a lot when we send this over to Blender later. Now, that being said, I actually just Z-remeshed the shirt, partly because I was running out of time, but also it was quite wrinkly anyway. I didn't think the time to effort ratio warranted retopology of the shirt. For the body, I brought in a previous base mesh, again because I was running out of time. By the way, if you're thinking of getting involved in the challenge, don't think using things like base meshes is cheating. As living legend Glenn Vilppu says, there's no rules, only tools. Just make sure you make time to study how these things are put together from scratch when you have time. If there's a particular area you struggle with, you might consider making it the focus of the challenge. Another question I get asked often is, why do I sculpt in Zbrush rather than Blender? Let's assume this isn't a loaded question and give you some straight answers. I like Zbrush. I've been using it for quite a few years now, and I like how the brushes feel and how efficient it is as a sculpting tool. It has been built from the ground up to be good at sculpting, and nothing else out there really comes close to it. Now, that's not to say I won't learn to sculpt in Blender, because I will, and in fact I often do to make little fixes here and there. And you can create really nice things with it, I'm sure. It's just not as easy as it would be in Zbrush. For me at least anyway. Not only that, I've bought a license for it, so I'm using it. Anyway, enough rambling from me. If you've got this far in the video, it's got to be worth a cheeky like, hasn't it? And if you haven't subscribed yet, you know what to do. Again, if you want to get involved in the challenge, the best thing to do is follow the link to Discord in the description, and I will see you either in the next video or in one of the live streams. Peace.
I don't really care about the people in the bar line. I don't really mind all the woo girls doing stage dives. I don't care at all, baby, who got my attention. So you were saying I don't see the logic of things. It's quite a lonely world that we're living in. Oh baby, you are something special, I'm sure. Everything makes total sense when you're next to me. Even if I told you I could never let you go, I am not so sure you believe me. But if I mean to show you, I will never let you go. No, I don't see the logic of things. It's quite a lonely world that we're living in. Oh baby, you are something special, I'm sure. Everything makes total sense when you're next to me. Oh, everything makes total sense when you're next to, when you're next to, when you're